try to save it from rusting. I always take that stuff off.
Yeah.
I always strip it down.
Wow. Something like that.
That'd be the easiest.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's slow down here a little bit. Robbie is really excited about this truck. He needs to calm down, slow his roll. We have no...
Rochester, Wisconsin, and this lady was...
Seen what, this piece?
All of this, everything.
There's the blower.
Everything.
Oh, all of this is in the
All of it.
building?
My heart has been shattered into 1,000 pieces. When those heartbreaking words appeared, millions of fans suddenly realized that Mike Wolfe, the legendary wanderer of the antique collecting world, had quietly reached the limits of what he could endure. For decades, television cameras only showed a man who always smiled while searching for hidden treasures, leaving the relentless tragedies that were quietly consuming his life completely out of view.
I've got some more stuff back here.
All right.
Wow, look at all this.
Oh my gosh.
Got a few Zeppelins.
That's what I was talking to you about before. I said anytime I see a Zeppelin, I usually try to buy it.
You know, the pieces that we put in here, some of it may look very random, but once we actually incorporate them into the business, into the building.
Okay.
And played around up there.
And that was in the 70s?
Yeah.
The very first dune buggies were basically Volkswagen Beetles with a body pull.
From heartbreaking losses behind the scenes to painful final goodbyes, what did this man ultimately have to sacrifice behind the spotlight? The year 2025 marked the beginning of one of the most turbulent periods in Mike Wolfe's life. While viewers remained accustomed to watching him travel across America, searching for antiques on American pickers, his life away from the cameras was filled with one major setback after another. In less than 2 years, a series of devastating events affected his career, his family, and his personal life. One of the first major changes came when the antique archaeology store in Nashville officially closed in April. The location had opened in 2011 and had become a favorite destination for American Pickers fans.
There's a lot going on.
We found LeClaire, Iowa, home of American Pickers.
I understand how this stuff matters. You know, even though you're not into antiques and you're not into collectibles, you can still find something in here.
After nearly 15 years in business, the store ceased operations as Mike decided to focus more on other projects and restructure the brand's business model. By mid-year, Mike Wolfe's life took a dramatic turn after a serious traffic accident. While driving his 1958 Porsche 356 on a road near Columbia, Tennessee, he collided with an SUV. According to the investigation report, the other vehicle was driven by 76-year-old Lerone Heads, who was accused of driving under the influence. Mike's vintage Porsche was not equipped with airbags and retained only its original lap seatbelt. After the powerful impact, he suffered a broken nose, a torn knee, meniscus, wrist injuries, and multiple facial injuries. Although he survived, Mike later admitted that the accident permanently changed the way he viewed both life and his work. The crash left Letitia Klein, Mike's girlfriend since 2021, with even more severe injuries. She suffered 3 fractures to her jaw, a broken sternum, multiple broken ribs, a partially collapsed lung, and swelling around her spine. Doctors performed complex reconstructive jaw surgery, while her recovery has continued through multiple stages of treatment up to the present. After the accident, Mike repeatedly said they were fortunate to have survived a situation that could easily have ended far worse. He described the experience as a major turning point that made him reevaluate the importance of his health, his family, and the people who had always stood beside him. While the recovery process was still ongoing, Mike Wolfe faced another painful loss within his family. In early February 2026, his mother, Rita Wolfe, passed away after battling cancer for 4 months. Mike, his brother, Robbie Wolfe, and his sister, Beth, were all by her side during her final moments. Following her passing, Mike shared several heartfelt tributes, speaking about the influence his mother had throughout his life. He said Rita was the person who inspired his love for small towns, old objects, and local history. Those memories later became the foundation of the work he has dedicated himself to for many years. Another heartbreaking loss came in July when Mike Wolfe announced that his dog Francie Joe had died in an accident. The Border Collie had accompanied him on countless trips and frequently appeared on his social media accounts. In his post, Mike said he felt personally responsible for what had happened. He wrote that his heart had been shattered into 1,000 pieces and described it as one of the most painful losses he had ever experienced. The post received an outpouring of sympathy and support from fans. Even so, these recent losses reveal only part of Mike Wolfe's life. To understand why these events carried such profound meaning for him, it is necessary to look back at the relationship that remained by his side for decades and left the deepest mark on his life. Frank Fritz, tragedy. In 2021, Frank Fritz's departure from American Pickers was officially confirmed. Soon afterward, he gave an interview to The Sun revealing that he had not spoken to Mike Wolfe for about 2 years. Frank claimed that his longtime friend never contacted him or checked on him after his back surgery. The interview quickly attracted widespread attention because it was the first time Frank had publicly discussed the rift between them. His comments sparked intense discussion among viewers because on television, Mike and Frank had always appeared as close friends whose chemistry defined every trip. Mike Wolfe later responded by explaining the period when they drifted apart. He said he deliberately stepped back after witnessing Frank's struggle with prescription drug addiction. According to Mike, the decision was never driven by anger or a desire to end their friendship. He simply did not know how to help his friend through such a difficult time. Mike also revealed that he repeatedly encouraged Frank to enter rehab. He said he always hoped Frank could recover and return to a normal life. Even so, those efforts were not enough to repair their fractured friendship in a short period of time. In July 2022, Frank Fritz suffered a severe stroke at his home in Iowa. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition and later underwent a lengthy period of treatment and rehabilitation. The medical emergency significantly weakened his health and permanently changed his life. After the stroke, Mike Wolfe gradually reconnected with his longtime friend. According to Mike, their most important reunion took place during Memorial Day. He said both of them broke down in tears when they met again after years of little contact. That meeting marked their reconciliation before it became too late. As Frank's health continued to decline, Mike kept visiting him whenever possible. He repeatedly said that what mattered most at that point was no longer the disagreements of the past, but having the chance to put misunderstandings behind them and spend time together while they still could. On September 30th, 2024, Frank Fritz died at the age of 60 from complications related to his stroke. His passing brought an end to the journey of one of the most recognizable faces of American Pickers. The news was quickly confirmed by multiple American media outlets and drew widespread attention from the show's fans. Mike Wolfe later revealed that he had been at the hospital about an hour before Frank passed away. He held his friend's hand, placed his hand on Frank's chest, and spoke his final words. Mike said he told Frank that he had never been angry with him and hoped he would peacefully reunite with his mother. According to Mike, he was also the one who gently closed Frank's eyes after he passed away. The following day, Mike shared a tribute on Instagram expressing his gratitude for their friendship that had lasted for decades. The post quickly received hundreds of thousands of interactions, along with countless messages of sympathy from fans. While his friendship with Frank left a profound emotional mark on Mike Wolfe, another major turning point unfolded in his private life as his long-lasting marriage came to an end. The costly divorce. In 1994, Mike Wolfe met Jody Faith, and the two began a relationship that lasted for many years before deciding to get married. As Mike gradually became a familiar face on American Pickers and his fame continued to grow, Jody chose to keep a low profile and rarely appeared in the media. On January 30th, 2012, their daughter, Charlie Faith Wolfe, was born. From birth, Charlie was diagnosed with a cleft lip and cleft palate. She underwent multiple surgeries and a lengthy course of treatment. Mike has often said that this was one of the greatest challenges his family had ever faced. His experiences with Charlie had a profound impact on Mike Wolfe's charitable work. He became actively involved with Operation Smile, an organization that provides free surgeries for children born with cleft lips and cleft palates around the world. Mike has participated in numerous fundraising events and used his public platform to raise awareness of the cause. 8 months later, Mike Wolfe and Jody Faith were married in Leipers Fork, Tennessee. After nearly 2 decades together, they entered married life as American Pickers was becoming one of the highest-rated programs on the History Channel. Over the following years, Mike devoted most of his time to filming, traveling across multiple states in search of historic treasures. Jody remained the family's steady support and rarely attended media events. Their private life stayed largely separate from the image viewers saw on television. By June 2020, Mike Wolfe and Jody Faith officially separated. Jody later filed for divorce in Tennessee, citing irreconcilable differences. The legal proceedings were completed, bringing an end to both their marriage and a relationship that had lasted nearly 3 decades since they first met. Court documents later revealed that the divorce involved one of the more substantial property settlements for a reality television personality. Under the agreement, Mike Wolfe paid approximately $5.23 million to divide the couple's shared assets. In addition to the property settlement, Mike paid approximately $634,000 in spousal support under the agreement. Court records also confirmed that Jody received ownership of the Nashville home, along with a property in North Carolina, while other assets were divided according to the court's terms. Another notable provision involved income from American Pickers. Under the agreement, Jody receives a share of the royalties from the show's first 10 seasons through the end of this year. The arrangement reflects the long-term commercial value of the television series that helped make Mike Wolfe a nationally recognized figure. Child custody was also outlined in detail in the legal documents. Charlie Faith Wolfe primarily lives with her mother for approximately 230.5 days each year. Mike has custody during the remaining 134.5 days and is required to pay $2,100 per month in child support. Even after the marriage ended, Mike Wolfe repeatedly stated that Charlie remains the highest priority in his life. He frequently shares photos of the two of them during trips or special occasions, while continuing to spend time with his daughter whenever his work schedule allows. Alongside the changes in his personal life, Mike Wolfe quietly expanded his business ventures, investments, and historic preservation projects. This has become an important part of his career, though it receives very little attention on American Pickers. Business empire. After nearly 15 years in operation, the antique archaeology store in Nashville closed, so Mike Wolfe could focus his resources on other projects, while the original LeClaire location continues to operate. At the same time, he expanded the Two Lanes brand with clothing accessories and products inspired by American road culture, following a commitment to American-made goods. At the same time, Mike developed the Two Lanes guest house properties in LeClaire and Columbia. These accommodations were renovated from older buildings, preserving many of their original architectural details, instead of replacing them with entirely new construction. The project reflects his long-standing passion for restoring historic properties. Mike Wolfe's investments extend well beyond retail and hospitality. He also owns multiple properties in Tennessee and Iowa. According to recent estimates, his real estate portfolio is worth approximately $5 million, including homes, commercial properties, and several restored historic buildings. One of his most notable projects is Columbia Motor Alley in Columbia, Tennessee, Mike and his partners revitalized the area with the goal of bringing new life to the downtown district while creating space for small businesses, local shops, and community cultural activities. He also participated in restoring Revival, a former Esso gas station that was transformed into a community gathering place and event venue. Instead of demolishing the original structure, Mike chose to preserve many of its historic features, reflecting the same philosophy found throughout his other restoration projects. Another significant property is an Italianate-style house built in 1873. Mike invested considerable time and resources into restoring the building, placing priority on preserving its original structure rather than modernizing it. The same restoration approach can be seen throughout many of his other real estate projects. Mike's preservation work extends beyond historic buildings. He also launched a micro-grant program to support artisans in small towns across America. Individual grants typically range from $2,000 to $10,000 and are awarded to traditional craftsmen such as blacksmiths, sign painters, and other long-established trades. According to Mike, the program's goal is to give disappearing traditional crafts a better chance to survive. Rather than preserving only buildings or artifacts, he hopes to protect the skills and cultural traditions that have existed within local communities for generations. Alongside architecture and traditional craftsmanship, vintage motorcycles remain one of Mike Wolfe's greatest passions. For many years, he has continued collecting, restoring, and preserving historically significant motorcycles. The collection has grown alongside his television career and has become an important part of his personal projects. According to published estimates, Mike Wolfe's net worth is approximately $7 million to $10 million. His primary sources of income include American Pickers, his retail businesses, real estate holdings, television royalties, and numerous ventures connected to his personal brand. As these projects continue expanding behind the scenes, Mike Wolfe has also entered a new chapter with fresh television programs and plans for the next stage of his career. The road ahead. Today, Mike Wolfe has launched History's Greatest Picks with Mike Wolfe. The 8-episode series is produced in a studio format instead of the familiar cross-country journeys featured on American Pickers. It marks Mike's first new television project after spending many years focused almost entirely on the original series. History's Greatest Picks with Mike Wolfe centers on remarkable artifacts connected to American history. Rather than traveling to search for and negotiate purchases, Mike serves as the storyteller exploring the origins, historical significance, and cultural value of each item through archival footage and conversations with experts. The new format allows Mike to cover stories that American Pickers could not fully explore within its traditional runtime. The series remains centered on history, antiques, and American heritage, while greatly reducing the constant travel that had long been part of his career. At the same time, American Pickers continues in production. Following Frank Fritz's passing, Robbie Wolfe has taken on a much larger role. Mike's brother now appears more frequently, helping the series maintain its familiar style while bringing a new dynamic to the long-running program. According to the announced schedule, the American Pickers crew will return to Iowa and Illinois for filming in September 2026. Casting announcements and calls for owners of large collections continue as in previous seasons, showing that the program remains committed to its traditional search for unique people and historic treasures. Outside of filming, Mike Wolfe divides his time between LeClaire, Iowa, and Columbia, Tennessee. These locations serve as the center of his business operations and historic preservation projects. Regular travel between the two has become a routine part of his professional life. Following the serious accident, Letitia Klein continues recovering from her injuries. Mike has shared photos of them enjoying everyday activities and taking short trips whenever her condition allows. Both continue keeping their private lives largely out of the public eye. Mike also continues spending as much time as possible with his daughter, Charlie. Even with a demanding filming schedule across multiple states, he has repeatedly said that being present in her life remains one of his greatest priorities following the end of his marriage to Jody Faith. His commitment to preserving small-town America also continues. Mike remains involved in restoring historic buildings, supporting local artisans, and developing community spaces throughout Tennessee and other regions. He has often described these efforts as one of the most meaningful parts of his work. His passion for antiques and vintage motorcycles has never changed. Mike continues searching for historically significant pieces, restoring classic motorcycles, and expanding his personal collection. Those projects reflect an interest that began long before he became a television personality. At around 62 years old, Mike Wolfe continues maintaining a busy schedule. He remains active in television, oversees his businesses, and continues supporting preservation projects across local communities. His work shows no sign of slowing down after decades in the industry. Viewers often associate Mike with cross-country treasure hunting, though much of his time is now devoted to business restoration projects and community development behind the scenes. These efforts receive far less attention on American Pickers, while representing an important part of his daily life. Over the years, American Pickers introduced audiences to Mike Wolfe as a passionate collector and champion of American history. Away from the cameras, his life has been shaped by personal loss, changing relationships, the end of his marriage, and a lasting commitment to preserving the places and traditions he values. Together, those experiences offer a much more complete picture of the man behind the television series. If you would like to discover more little-known stories about television stars and other famous personalities, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join us for our upcoming videos.